All right, and last slide here. We got a word problem. Okay, this graph shows the number of miles a helicopter is from its destination after X hours on its first flight. Okay, so that's a graph of its first flight. On its second flight, the helicopter travels 50 miles farther, but it increases its speed by 25 miles an hour. So the function that they give us here, f of x equals 350 minus 125x. That represents the second flight. Okay, the graph is the first flight, that function is the second flight, where f of x is the number of miles the helicopter is from its destination after X hours. Okay, what they want to know is which flight takes less time. So what we need to do is first we need to graph our second flight. So let's make our input-output table again. Okay, so we need an X and a Y. Now this time it says X is hours. So in this case we're not going to do any negatives. We're going to start at 0 because you don't have negative hours. Okay, so we're going to start at 0. And let's just go up to 3. Okay, so on our graph here, we're going to plug in 0 to our function. Our function's right here. It's 350 minus 125x. Okay, and we're going to take turns plugging each x in and substitute it in right there. So the first one, 350 minus 125 times 0. Okay, so in that case, anything times 0 is 0. So we're left with a 350. I'm going to have to squeeze these in there. Next one, we're going to plug in a 1. Okay, so 350 minus 125 times 1. Okay, so in that case, we're going to get 225. Okay, if we keep doing this, we're going to plug in a 2, we get 100. We're going to plug in a 3, we get a negative 25. Now, on our graph, okay, we need to compare the two graphs. Now, this would be a little better if we had some graph paper. Okay, but in this case, actually, I'm going to move this over a little bit. Okay, on our graph here, we need to plot our points. So x, remember that's our x-axis. Okay, our x, I actually put y instead of f of x, which is okay. Okay, that's there. We can switch them out. Okay, but x is 0. Okay, so let's make some tick marks here. 0, 1, 2, 3. So we got a 1, a 2, and a 3. Okay, we have 0 down here. Now let's go up by 50 because that's what the other graph did. Okay, so we're going to count up by 50s and we're going to plot our points. So we have 100 here. We have 200 up here. So we're going 0 and up 350, so we need one more up here. Okay, this is a little messy. Like I said, it's easier on graph paper. Now, over 1, up 225. Over 2, up 100. And over 3. Now, it does go negative, but in this case, the graph, it doesn't make any sense to have negative hours, like we said, or negative distance. Okay, so we're just going to assume that it's kind of down here somewhere. So when we draw our line through these points, we're going to actually stop on the positive. Now let's compare the two. Okay, if we compare, look up here. When x is 0, when x is 3 at 3 hours, our y is 0. Okay, now over here our x is a little less than 3, and our y is going to be a little less. Okay, so what that means is, since it took less time, that second flight will take less time. Okay, so sooner we went a smaller distance.